I have 2 boxes from Jerry's Artarama, and it has almost every try it, buy it item in there. One is old because I have a lot of those, so one box is from 2018, and the other is brand new. I just got this weekend with the remainder of stuff that I didn't get before and stuff that's new for the try it, buy it section. So I'm excited to get into it, see what all we have. And just in case you don't know what the Buy It Try It is at Jerry's Artarama, navigate to their website by putting in their website address, jerrysartarama.com, and you'll see a link right here where my mouse is moving, Buy It Try It. And if you click on that, you will see there's actually 2 pages full of art supplies that you can try for $1.25 and $2.25. So they basically have those 2 prices. And if I scroll down here, you can see the different categories if you wanted to separate them, but there are only 2 pages of art supplies, so I find it's easier just to scroll through them. So you can see you can try gouache here, hockey brushes, different kinds of surfaces to paint on, little picture frames. You get sketchbooks for only $2.25, and those are actually 4x6s, wood panels you can paint on, different kinds of paint you can try. So it really just lives up to its name, buy it and try it, because you're not going to spend a lot of money. Look at these acrylic and oil samples, 3 different tubes of paint, and they're pretty big tubes, 12 mil, for only $1.25 for the entire set. So this is why the try it, buy it, or buy it, try it is a really good value. And make sure you click through onto the second page right here, because the second page has the really good stuff. The second page is where you can do buy it, try it for watercolor paper and watercolor boards. And down here you also get these little Stonehenge paper samples, and they are between 15 sheets, except for this one has only 5 because it's the 300-pound watercolor paper. But basically you get a lot of sheets of their different surfaces that Stonehenge makes. So it's really cool. Make sure you get to that second page. That's going to be important. That's where the good stuff is. And here they are. This is the old one. Jam-packed full of stuff. We will see what's in there in a moment. And the new one, also jam-packed full of stuff. It's kind of cool, this little box they put inside. Just a box inside a box. It's very cool. All right, here it is. So I will get all this out and organize it on the desk so you can see it. All right, here is everything that was in those 2 boxes. I'm guessing this is probably around $80 worth of try it, buy it items. And it is both boxes, both from 2018 and from last week. So let's see what's inside that you can't really see. We've got artist canvas, cotton canvas for oils, acrylics, and water-based media. So it's like a paper canvas. This is the oil primed linen panels. So they feel like balsa wood, and then they have some kind of primer on the front of them. Universal primed linen painting panel. There's 3 4x6 of these in the Centurion brand. And I'm going to bring you in a little closer so the lights work better here. This is just a 4x6 wood frame, and you can slip canvases into it and paint it the way you want it. This one I'm really excited about, a Da Vinci liquid art panel, 6x6, so it has a raised edge, and it's going to be great with pouring acrylics, high flow acrylics, that sort of thing. They have the Soho Urban Artist acrylic sample for you, yellow, blue, and red. This is available also. It's dusty. There's also, nope, this one's green, blue, and red. Kind of weird. No yellow. It's all right. And I think this was a freebie. Like if you bought over a certain amount, you could pick a freebie, and I picked this and didn't remember that it was even in there because I would have gotten it out and watched it. Anyway, Artistico, Fabriano. So there are 2 sheets in here that are extra white, and then 2 sheets that's more of a cream colored, and they call that the traditional white. So these are, what size? I'm guessing they look a little bigger than 5. They're probably 6x8. This was not a try it, buy it item, but it is something that I wanted. The indigo core, because if you saw my video, and I'll link that up in the corner for you, about testing all the indigos. Core was one that I really liked, and I didn't have indigo in Core, so I picked that up while I was at it. Now these I thought were bigger, all these Legion Stonehenge sample packs, because I've seen them before in a bigger size, more like a 4x6, more like this size. But this is the size they came, and it said the size on the website. I just didn't pay attention to it, so my bad. I have a lot of these little tiny things, and I bought duplicates in two kinds of paper. I bought duplicates in this heavy cold press. So this is 300, or not 300, 300 pound, but I don't know what the grams per meter squared is, but it's 300 pound paper. And these are tiny, 2.5 by 3 3/4. So I have 2 of these and 2 of every UPO they had. So UPO is really expensive, and I thought it'd be fun to have a bunch of little UPOs. So this is the translucent. This one is the heavy. So you can see it's much thicker. 2 of those. And 2 of the UPO medium. It's white. The ones that don't say translucent are white. A Stonehenge Aqua Hot Press. A warm white. It feels like drawing paper. Can't tell, it doesn't really say. Stonehenge Light. Fine drawing techniques. Okay, it does say, if you read the paragraph here, multiple layers of color. Great. Helpful. Ooh, black aqua cold press. We've received some of this in some of the subscription boxes, and it's really nice. Really like it. So now we have tiny ones. Maybe we'll be sending Christmas cards in tiny sizes this year or something like that. Cotton paper, 100% cotton. Graphite, pastel, colored pencil, and charcoal. Stonehenge colors, 5 natural colors to choose from. Very natural colors. Perfect for all drawing techniques. Stonehenge white, this is what I usually use for colored pencil. So there's little ones of that. Aqua cold press, gotta love it. And craft. Earth tone leaf provides a surface perfect for printmaking, drawing, or experimentation. It's all cotton. Oh, that'll be fun. I have a birch wood painting panel, 3x3, 7/8 inch thickness, medium textured gesso panel in 3x3, a resist grip. So this is good for, well, it says everything, but I think that it would be good for acrylics or oils. Ultra smooth gesso panel. Very nice. Little gallery frame. Now these little papers would actually fit in these frames. It's only 3.5 inches, so the top to bottom you can see a little bit would be cut off. But I was kind of thinking, oh, I could frame something if you made something really cool. And I got a black one and a white one, and I didn't get, I think you can get many of these, but they, I believe, were a little more expensive, maybe closer to $3 or $4, probably $4. So I only got black and white, and I wasn't sure about the small size either. So these, I noticed, are still on their site. In fact, all of this stuff is, even the old 2018 stuff. But this is a 4x6 80 sheet sketchbook. It's a bound journal, basically, an elastic strip. And here's this one, and I had 2 of these as well. But I gave one to my oldest son for a sketchbook, and he really likes it. He says it's pretty nice paper. And all these brushes. And I just put a smaller hockey brush on my to-buy list today, because this is the smallest and only hockey brush I have. I don't know if this one will be any good, but at least it's smaller, and I can't wait to try it. Little round brushes by the truckload. Really didn't need more, but I'm kind of excited about this white one. It looks nice. And this tiny, tiny, tiny one, I don't have one of these teeny, teeny, tiny ones, and I could have used that in the painting I did today. And this one is filbert. It's a tiny filbert. This one kind of got messed up in shipping, so I'm gonna have to cut out some of the bristles there, but this definitely feels more like a oil painting brush. It's hog hair, I believe. This is just a flat. Creative Inspirations, Creative Mark White. I usually use these white ones for acrylic. We have this Senso linen painting panel. New Try It pack. So these are the same thing as these little ones here. All these little ones, except obviously the magenta and blue one. So this is for watercolor, and they give you a few sheets of each of those. These are really cool, 4 watercolor boards. So I have used the ampersand watercolor boards with acrylics and played with watercolor barely on them so far, but these are the brand Crescent. So I'm really excited to try these. This will be really fun. And then I got one each of these, but I got one in 2018 and one last week. So now I have 6 sheets of the hot press finish of the fluid watercolor paper, and I have 6 sheets now of the cold press finish here. We have lots more 8x10 sheets of paper to use up, which is great because I just put in my Amazon shopping cart. I haven't bought it yet, but put in my shopping cart little mats for 8x10 pictures. So last but not least, here is the Turner brand of the acro gouache. This is not re-wettable like normal gouache. That's why it's called acro gouache, which is kind of disappointing because might as well just use acrylics, except these dry with a matte finish, so they're really easy to photograph. So that's pretty cool. So I got every color they had available, plus, let me throw it, the big mixing white. And now on to the fun part, actually trying out these supplies. So I have never used alcohol markers on Yupo paper, just alcohol inks. So since alcohol markers contain alcohol ink, I wanted to give it a try. So I just did a very abstract shape of a cat and threw the color on there, kind of like an oil painting I did a while ago, back when I was a teenager, that I won an award on in a full-on art show. So that was kind of fun. And I really liked how the alcohol markers worked on the Yupo paper. It was fun. I enjoyed all of it. I don't like how my little abstract cat creature turned out, but you can't love them all, I suppose. So I decided that was a bit of a failure and turned the paper over to use the backside and just did some quick roses with the alcohol markers. And that's okay. I don't necessarily like this style of roses, but it is a quick way to get a basically version of a rose down on paper, and I was playing, just trying things out. So I decided they were boring and put in some green leaves and realized later that they needed some dark green, but I don't have dark green. That's the only green marker I have in my Copic, so that's what I get, and that's how that turned out. So next I decided to try the Yupo paper with actual alcohol inks, and if you guys have worked with alcohol inks, you know it's a bit of a crapshoot. And I don't know. If you don't have a really good plan, you can end up with a mess, but then you can just erase it all. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. I was just playing, wanting to show you guys the supplies. But I ended up with a cute little landscape regardless. And I noticed these marabou alcohol inks that I'm using, they don't spread on the Yupo paper as much as the jacquard. So you get a little bit more control with the marabou, even on Yupo paper, not just on craft plastic. Craft plastic you get a lot of control, but I think it's the marabou alcohol ink themselves that definitely help with that control. So I love alcohol inks. I love working with them because of their uncontrollability, if that's a word, it is now. And it just gives you a little bit of spontaneity with your painting. So I put in some color there at the last for some flowers, and you can see at the end I decided to put in some birds because the sky was very boring. It's just a nice fluid effect. After this I moved on to trying out the Turner Acro Gouache, and I have the paints and then the wax paper palettes that you can buy, and they usually come in pads. So this one is well used and there's some paint over on the right side. And I decided to try out the Centurion LX 4x6 canvas, and they're actually individually wrapped. So I just put some tape on the back, cut some cardboard out because I wanted to be able to move it around but still fit in the the camera view screen. And then these are the paintbrushes we got, or some of the paintbrushes we got in the box. So I decided I'll give them a try with the acrylics because they were about the right size for what I wanted to do. And we'll see how they work out. And so I just decided to do this. Basically, it's an Arizona landscape. It's pretty nice looking, at least in the reference photo. I don't know that I enjoy working with acrylics, and these are basically just like acrylics. So if you don't like acrylics, don't buy acro gouache. So if you want them to re-wet, make sure you get the actual gouache, not the acro gouache, because these dry immediately. They do tone down with water, and you can use the white to make them lighter and so on, just like regular acrylics. So I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite thing to work with. However, the brushes were fine. You know that the brush is probably fine when it doesn't bother you your whole painting. If you have a brush that's bothering you when you're painting with it, then you might want to not use that one again. But these, I didn't even notice. They acted just like other brushes that I've worked with, oils and acrylics. The paint will build up on the bristles. You got to wipe it off. That's why I have so many marks on my palette over there on the left. So they were fine. Yeah. And here at the end, I'm trying to make a nice dark color to put in some cacti in the background and a little bit in the foreground, but teeny tiny ones in the far back, bigger ones in the front. It's very colorful. I used every single color that I received. Barely used the black, but I did use it. And here you can see that is how it turned out. It's very bright, very vibrant. And after this, we move on to my favorite subject, which is anything watercolor. And you can see I started out using the heavy one. I've never used 300-pound paper before, and it was very hard to get out of this little pad because it's so thick. So it's got a big glue strip on it because the paper is that thick. But I finally got it out, taped it to that same piece of cardboard I was using previously, and decided to use my Pretty Excellent watercolors. I'm not saying they are Pretty Excellent. That is actually the brand name, Pretty Excellent, which is kind of funny. Anyway, I've never had any trouble with these watercolors. I'll do a rundown on all my palettes in a later video, but these are enjoyable enough. They dried a lot lighter, brighter. But here I'm just doing a tulip and giving it a very abstract background. I dipped some water in at the end, but it actually didn't do much. I was hoping it would cauliflower and bloom more than it did, but it didn't. You can see the dry shift was pretty drastic, so that's one thing I don't like. If you've watched my other videos, you know I don't like drying shifts. Not that drastic, but anyway, the paints are good enough in and of themselves. Here's my tulip with spatters, and then I go clean up the spatters that I didn't want on the flower itself. And here is how it turned out at the end. So then I don't want to waste the paper, but I want to do another painting, so I flip it over. And I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Like, what if I like both paintings and want to display them both? Oops. So you might think about that before you do what I did. You can probably learn a lot of what not to do by watching my videos. Alright, so you can tell this is kind of a landscape. It's not exactly a water bottom half there, but it is a reflection. So he's walking in a very shallow body of water. She kind of looks more like a girl because it's a bit fat. That person there is a bit fat. And then I tried to see what this looks like in one of the only white picture frame that I got in the Buy It, Try It. So it's nice. It kind of dilutes the color a little bit because it's behind glass, but this is what I ended up with. Thanks so much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed using these. I'm going to incorporate the rest of the products that I didn't try today in with my regular supplies, and you'll be seeing them throughout the rest of the video series that I do here on my channel. So make sure you subscribe down below, hit the bell, and make sure you turn on all notifications, or it'll only tell you once in a blue moon when I have a new video up. I release videos twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. So get yourself on over to Jerry's, try it, buy it. Actually, it's Buy It, Try It, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great week.